All right, everyone, thanks for coming out. The time now is 6 p.m., May 5th, 2026. I call to order this regular scheduled meeting of the Oconee County Council. Mr. James, would you pray for us?
Sure. Let's pray. Father, as we come to you this evening, we do thank you for the day. And Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to gather and handle county business, Lord. Lord, I do pray that everything that's done would be done to glorify you. Lord, pray you help us to be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath, Lord. And just give us wisdom and decision making. And Lord, we thank you for your grace and your mercy in our lives, Lord. And we just ask you to bless this time. All this we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Coach Winfrey and their Lady Razorbacks, would y'all lead us in the pledge?
All right, attention, salute, pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, county attorney comments?
No, sir, not at this time.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jones, administrative comments?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A lot going on in the county, a lot of good things. I want to welcome, and I don't know if Deanne Hester is here tonight. Deanne is our new planning director, so she started with us a couple weeks ago, and just want to welcome her to Oconee County. She has hit the ground running and is doing a great job already. I also want to take a moment to welcome our new emergency services director, Richie Caldwell. Richie, if you could stand up for us. Richie brings many years of experience from Seneca and from all of his experience serving in fire service and emergency services, and so we want to welcome him to our team and look forward to what we're doing with Richie. Last, I just had a comment about from solid waste. There's been some discussion about recently plastics, our recycling with our plastics at our convenience centers and so forth. Those are not being recycled at the moment. And I just want to be clear about that. We're going to post something on our website due to the cost of fuel and a number of factors. That has become a problem. So we're working, the good thing I can tell you, we're working with some companies, some industries that can potentially take those plastics and recycle them for us. So I just wanted to let the public be aware of that. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. All right, next we have consent agenda. Is there any items any member would like to pull from the consent agenda? All right, hearing none, would anyone want to make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, next we have 3 proclamations. The first is Proclamation 2026-04, a proclamation honoring the Walhalla High School girls basketball team on their second Class 3A state championship. Whereas on Friday, March 6, 2026, the Walhalla High School women's varsity basketball team captured the Class 3A state championship in Columbia, South Carolina. And whereas this victory marks back-to-back state titles for the girls basketball team from Walhalla, South Carolina. And whereas the team had exceptional regular season record of 26-2. Wow, I didn't realize that. Going on to be undefeated 8-0 in postseason regional games. And whereas head coach Byron Winfrey and assistant coach Gary Woodard provided outstanding direction, support, and encouragement to their team while showing admirable sportsmanship and dedication. And whereas through countless hours of practice with commitment and perseverance, the team and coaches will surely never forget that their hard work and commitment led them to win back-to-back Class 3A state championships. And whereas the Walhalla girls varsity basketball team, Coach Winfrey and Coach Woodard represented themselves, their families, their school, and the community proudly. Now therefore, we, the Oconee County Council, wish to acknowledge and congratulate the Walhalla High School girls basketball team, Coach Winfrey and Coach Woodard, in their second Class 3A state championship in a row.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Next, we have proclamation 2026-05, a proclamation for the National Day of Prayer. All right, Proclamation 2026-05, a proclamation for the National Day of Prayer. Whereas throughout the history of America, prayers have been lifted up, seeking the Lord in every generation for direction, protection, provision, so that God will glorify and bless America, resulting in America being filled with His glory, grace, and goodness, as He had answered our prayers for over 250 years. And whereas from the first Pilgrim's prayerful covenant with God in the Mayflower Compact to the Declaration of Independence and in every state constitution, God is glorified, giving reverence and thanks, compelling the prayers of our Continental Congress that formed our nation to continue to follow fervently across America in this generation and in rededication, personally and corporately, to the Creator, acknowledged in our declaration and placing a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence. And whereas the National Day of Prayer is a public law established in the United States Congress in 1952, approved by a joint resolution signed by President Truman and amended by Congress and President Reagan, with Public Law 100-307 in 1988, affirming that it is essential for us as a nation to pray and directs the President of the United States to set aside and proclaim the first Thursday of May annually as National Day of Prayer. And whereas in our country and across America, the observance of the National Day of Prayer will be held on Thursday, May 7th, 2026, with the theme, Glorify God Among the Nations, Seeking Him in All Generations, based on the verse in 1 Chronicles 16:24, tell of His glory among the nations, His wonderful deeds among all the peoples. Now, therefore, we, the Oconee County Council, do hereby proclaim May 7th, 2026, as a day of prayer throughout our country, and we commend this observation to our citizens and request that prayers will be lifted up throughout our county, with every generation seeking the Lord as we redirect our lives, city, and nation to the glory of God.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second, all in favor? Okay, next we have proclamation 2026-06. This is a proclamation for Peace Officers Memorial Day. Whereas the Congress and the President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day. Whereas the members of the law enforcement agencies of Oconee County play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of our community. Whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their law enforcement officers, and the law enforcement officers recognize their duty to serve the people of this community by protecting them against violence and disorder. And whereas the law enforcement officers of Oconee County unceasingly provide a vital public service, now therefore we, the Oconee County Council, in recognition of Peace Officers Memorial Day, would like to honor the memory of those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have become disabled in the performance of duty, to offer appreciation to the retired officers for their service to the law enforcement profession, and to honor those law enforcement officers presently serving their community.
Make a motion.
All in favor?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I can't reach way back there.
I'm not standing behind the shot.
Thank you, sir.
That's definitely a block on the flight.
But y'all hold it in the center. Don't hold it upside down now.
Can we get one more photo of Officer Savory in it?
Yeah, come on up, Alan.
I'm the picture taker in my family too, so I'm not in a lot of pictures. Hey, thank you.
You can see my feet.
Next, we have a presentation to council from Appalachian Council of Government, Mr. Steve, I'm sorry, I want to pronounce his name correctly. Pelletier, Executive Director.
Thank you, Chairman Durham, members of County Council. Appreciate the opportunity to be with you again this evening. I'll be brief. I know you have a lot to cover this evening, but I did want to take an opportunity to say thank you. Thank you to Oconee County and Oconee County Council for your continued partnership with the Appalachian Council of Governments. And I'm also here to report very briefly on services and investments in Oconee County over the past year. I want to especially thank Mr. Hart for your service on our Board of Directors. And Mr. Hart does a really, really good job of representing you all on that board. Also appreciate the service of Mr. David Underwood and Mr. Wayne Wright, who are citizen appointees that you all appointed to our board and also do an excellent job representing the folks of Oconee County. We've enjoyed and appreciate an excellent relationship with you and your staff and the interactions that we've had over many, many years with the county, other entities and the local governments in the county. Prior to the meeting, I distributed my annual report and I inserted in the front of it a specific sheet for Oconee County. And again, we'll go over it very briefly. I think return on investment is a good indicator of value. For 2025, your investment in the Appalachian Council of Governments was $38,993, and that's been your investment for the past 8 years now on an annual basis. For the return on investment to the county, its municipalities, and other entities was $5.2 million, or $133 back for every dollar you invested in the county. Funding includes, we were able to secure a $3 million USDA grant for the Walhalla Cane Creek, the Emergency Watershed Protection Project. We currently have 10 grants in the county totaling $33 million under management. Also, part of that includes the Joint Regional Sewer Authority, the SCIP Rehab Project, the Seneca Blue Ridge Park Initiative, Westminster Great Street Plaza Initiative, and Westminster Streetscape Initiative. In 2025, we were able to put $1.1 million from our Rural Transportation Improvement Program into the interchange there at US 123 at 130 in front of the Ingalls, where there's been a lot of accidents and just a lot of congestion there. I'm trying to make that safer and flow a little bit better. $830,000 provided for services to seniors in the county, and the idea behind this program is to keep seniors in their home where they're happier, they do better, and it's a lot cheaper for us as taxpayers to help somebody a little bit to stay in their home than to institutionalize them. This includes meals, both home delivered and congregate dining, in-home care service, caregiver services. In addition to those, we worked with 844 citizens of Oconee County on benefits counseling. People who had a need, a health need or some other need, and we were able to help find some resources to take care of those needs for them. $106,000 working with citizens of Oconee County for workforce skills improvement to meet the changing needs that employers are looking for in terms of job skills these days. We're able to fund a $120,000 ADA compliant van for senior services. In addition to those funding projects, other services include providing technical assistance to your ad hoc committee looking at the long-range reorganization of sewer services, continue to partner with the Economic Development Alliance, continue to run our InfoMinimum program, which is the background, the data, the GIS, and the mapping resources behind the marketing efforts that your folks do so well for Oconee County. Provided technical assistance to the county during your administrative transition, did a planning retreat for Seneca City Council, continue to provide technical assistance to all of the cities in the county, and provided state mandated planning training. I think I'll stop there. Yeah, I would encourage you to read the rest of the report during your free time, but I think that's the highlights. And certainly I would be glad to address any questions or address any other items in the report that, that you would like me to.
Have any questions?
Steve, I'd just like to thank you and the Appalachian Council of Governments for what you do for America.
Appreciate it, sir.
Yes, sir, I'd like to echo what Mr. Elliott just said, because y'all do quite a bit for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Steve.
All right.
Next, we have public comment. Just a reminder, you're limited to 5 minutes. Ms. Adams has a countdown clock. there's a screen on this side too, on both sides. And at the 1 minute mark, it will flash yellow. I'll try to remember since I'm right in front of you to hold this up as well. And as the time expires, it's red. I ask that you please keep the conversation related to county business. And again, as a reminder, if this is your first time, it's not a time for council and the public to interact out and back. There's a point in time later in the meeting for council member comments.
Mr. Belvin Clay.
Nothing. Thank you. Thank you so much for council giving me the time to speak. It's really a pleasure to be back here. It's great to see you, Mr. Chairman. Even great to see our new county administrator. Thank y'all guys so much for the new work you guys are doing, man. It's great that we have new leadership here, even from a former member from the Freedom Caucus. It really is great. So what I'm here to talk about today is an ordinance that I agree with, but I do have some concerns, and a lot of the public has concerns as well with this ordinance. This is actually from Don Mize, a moratorium on new development. Now, I agree. Development in this county has gotten rampant, and the only way to preserve the natural beauty and increase the growth that we have already is to keep Oconee beautiful. We have to ensure that this is a controlled development, but we can't just make hasty decisions. My background, I run a marketing, I do strategies for a lot of different companies nationwide, and I tell clients all the time, you need to move off statistics, you need to move off facts, and never move off emotion. The moratorium, it's a very common thing we see. Pickens County has done it, Greenville County has done it, that's simple. But what's very disheartening and concerning, which, you know, there might be more you guys have planned that the public just does not know yet, but there's no limits, there's no term limits, it's just saying that there's a moratorium on new subdivisions over 10 lots, and that's it. Most places like to set a term limit, and the reason why they set the term limit is because you guys have time to, you know, talk amongst each other, time to figure out a good strategy, what is best for the constituents that you guys represent. So I just want to make sure that if we're going to do something to this level, that it is backed with strategy, that it is backed with plan, and that this is not something that just because this is election season. I mean, during election season, we have to do things to make the public want to vote for us. And at the end of the day, I'm not even saying that's the reason why you're doing that. I know you care about this community just as much as me, but if you care about this community truly, you got to make sure to come with an accurate plan, and we cannot just move off emotion. We have to use you guys' expertise. We have to use the community's expertise to formulate a plan that is going to bring Oconee County to the future that it deserves, so young families continue to prosper here, so the families that have been here can continue to love the great place that we all know. So again, thank you so much to council for all the hard work you do. Mr. Elliott, I noticed your last year here, and thank you so much for the work you've done as well. And just God bless America and God bless Oconee County. You guys keep being great, all right? Thank you.
Mr. Tom Markovich.
Thank you. For the record, I am Tom Markovich. I knew you guys would be saddened if I didn't show up to speak on this subject. So it's interesting. I've been addressing this council on housing issues for 29 years. And I was reminded not too long ago that I was outgunned on a particular issue. I wasn't offended because it wasn't me being outgunned. It's affordable housing that is being outgunned. And there's no question it is in the sights of this council. I definitely have issues with ordinance 2026-15. I think it's a reaction, and it's not a good reaction. It's unquestionably going to create far more issues for affordable housing in a place where the housing is already so expensive. I took the time. What really puzzles me, though, too, is that the council worked pretty hard on economic development to bring in jobs. And so I looked back over the last 4 years. Actually, I had Google look back over 4 years. AI is a pretty interesting thing in some ways. But In 2023 and 24, council economic development for this county was 200,591 jobs. 2004, 114,324 jobs. 2025, 55,092 new jobs. And I know you're working on economic development stuff. But my question is this. I'm guessing that you're creating these jobs for people who live outside this county because they can't afford to live here because of some of the zoning issues and now because of a moratorium. And so all these people are going to be on the road commuting. And I'm like, okay, so the council just wants more people on the road and be stuck in traffic, I guess. I know I'm being sarcastic, but to me, the word moratorium is sarcastic. It's just a slap in the face to every working individual who's trying to find a way to own their first home. That's all I got. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Markovich.
Mr. Lee Sheehan.
I'd like to thank you, gentlemen, for allowing us to speak in a public forum here to County Council. I have 4 questions that I'd like council to answer concerning ordinance 2026-15 prior to the vote on that ordinance. The first question is, what specific issue has prompted the introduction of this ordinance? The second question, what is the intended duration of this ordinance? The third question, what actions will this county council take to address the underlying issue during this moratorium period? Goes back to the first question. And then the last one, why is this ordinance being fast-tracked? Because the second reading is scheduled for a specially called meeting 2 days from today on Thursday at 3:30 in the afternoon. I'll leave a copy of this with the clerk.
That's all we have.
All right, let's move forward to council member comment section. All right, hearing none, I will say, I believe everybody spoke on the moratorium ordinance. I intend to speak on that when we bring it up in the agenda item. All right, let's move on to public hearing. We have one public hearing for ordinance 2026-10, an ordinance authorizing the conveyance of easement rights to Blue Ridge Electric Cooperative Incorporated for the purpose of utility infrastructure construction and maintenance at property owned by Oconee County in Seneca, South Carolina, currently designated by the Oconee County Tax Map Number 268-00-03-104 and 268-00-03-089 and other matters related thereto.
We have no speakers.
This is probably, no speakers? All right, hearing none, so I'll close public hearing on ordinance 2026-10. Now we move forward to third reading of that same ordinance 2026-10. Not gonna read it again, it's on the screen. We have a motion.
Make a motion.
Second. Mr. Hart, Mr. Elliott, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
That is 5-0.
Okay, well, and next is we have first reading on several ordinances. First is ordinance 2026-01, an ordinance to establish the budget for Oconee County and provide for the levy of taxes for ordinary county purposes for the Tri-County Technical College Special Revenue Fund, for the Emergency Services Protection Special Revenue Fund, for the Road Maintenance Special Revenue Fund, for the Victim Services Special Revenue Funds, for the State Accommodation Tax Special Revenue Fund, for the Local Accommodation Tax Special Revenue Fund, for the Community Health and Community Services Special Revenue Fund, for the Economic Development Capital Project Fund, for the Bridge and Culvert Capital Project Fund, for the Capital Vehicle and Equipment Fund, for the Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Capital Projects Fund, for the Fire Emergency Services Capital Vehicle and Equipment Fund, for the General One-Time Capital Fund, and for the Debt Services Fund, and in all in Oconee County for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026, and ending June 30th, 2027.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? This is first reading, we still have work to do on the budget. We had a meeting prior to this meeting as well, and we have additional budget meetings prior to the second reading. All right, no other comments, all in favor? Next is ordinance 2026-02, an ordinance to establish the budget for the school district of Oconee County and to provide for the levy of taxes for the operations of the school district for Oconee County for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026, and ending June 30th, 2027.
Make motion. Second.
Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor? Next, we have ordinance 2026-03, an ordinance to provide for the levy of taxes for the Kiwi Fire Tax District and to establish a budget for the Kiwi Fire Tax District for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026, and ending June 30th, 2027.
So moved. Second.
Second, any discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Bill Bull and I met with the fire chief a couple weeks ago about his budget, and we feel good about it. It's nice and conservative, and so just wanted everybody to know that.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Davis Ronco.
Next, we have ordinance 2026-12, an ordinance to provide for the levy of taxes for the Cornish-Shiloh Special Purpose Tax District for fire protection, and to establish the budget for the Cornish-Shiloh Special Purpose Tax District for fire protection for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026, and ending June 30th, 2027.
Make motion.
Second. Mr. Hart, second.
Second.
Mr. Mize, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. All right, we have ordinance 2026-13, an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a real property lease agreement between Oconee County as leaseor and Oconee History Museum Incorporated as lessee for certain real property known as the Tobacco Barn located at 123 Brown Square Drive, Walhalla, South Carolina, and other matters related thereto.
Make motion.
Motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Davis Ronco.
All right, we have ordinance 2026-14, an ordinance to exempt from the property tax 42 and 75 100% of the fair market value of a watercraft and its motor pursuant to SE Code annotation section 1237-220, Bravo 38, Bravo.
Make motion.
Have a motion?
Second.
Second, Mr. Mize, any discussion? All right, so just clarification of what this is, the state passed a law, South Carolina has the highest boat tax, maybe in the nation, at least in the southeast, at a 10.5% assessment rate. The state passed a law to gradually work down that number to 6% by 2029. What this ordinance seeks to do is to go ahead and, versus us waiting on the state and waiting on the county taxpayers to wait for a tax break, we can go ahead and establish this starting January 1 of 2027. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Davis Ronco.
Aye. Ordinance 2026-15, an ordinance to impose a moratorium on any new construction or development of planned subdivisions seeking to establish more than 10 residential dwelling units and other matters related thereto.
Make motion.
Motion, Mr. Hart.
Second.
Second, Mr. Mize. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to talk a little bit about this. And I even made me some notes because I knew it'd probably be a sensitive subject. So as you know, Oconee has become a destination
on many fronts, Oconee County has. A retirement area, a recreation area, we've got the lowest taxes. We're the third lowest in the state in taxes. We've got considerable growth going on with economic development. We've got a good director of economic development. He's out beating the bushes every day looking for industry to come here to provide jobs, jobs for our kids and other families. And it's become very attractive for these big developers to roll in here. And time again, I hear, and I've heard it ever since I've been on county council, but the entire county council has been hearing from the citizens is to stop the rapid growth, okay? Now, some folks are coming up here tonight possibly opposing what we're fixing to do. But the message I've been hearing for 3.5 years is stop the growth or slow it down and make it responsible growth. I'm not against growth at all. But, so that's why we're taking this action to try to accomplish this by putting this moratorium in place. Temporary, and I will say a temporary moratorium, okay? District 3 that I represent is one of the smallest districts in the county, but it is the most dense. And I see it, and Devin, you live there too, and you see it right across the road from you. Jeff's there. We all see it in Seneca. It's about got out of hand. So we see it every day. So I put together something here, and I'm going to read it aloud, and we'll go from there. Since I'm sponsoring this ordinance, I'm bringing this ordinance forward tonight as a matter of sound governance. This council is initiating substantial work updating 3 chapters of our county code, and that work needs to be protected while it's in progress. This ordinance does that. Let me explain that these 3 chapters are Chapter 38 is our zoning ordinance, Chapter 32 is our design standards, and Chapter 26 is our roads. Together, those 3 chapters govern almost every new subdivision built in Oconee County. They set the standard for lot sizes, setbacks, infrastructure, road construction, and the design features that determine the character of the development that they're building. We're updating all 3 of these chapters. That work is necessary, and it's been long overdue, and this council is going to do that. Here is a practical problem we have to solve at the same time. If we update the codes without a temporary pause, a developer can come and file a large subdivision application tomorrow under the rules that are in place right now. That application would get grandfathered. It gets built under the standards that exist today that we've already determined that are inadequate. And the county lives with the result of that for the next 50 years, okay? So this is not speculation. That is what happens every time a jurisdiction signals a code update is coming. Basically, they can make a mad dash to the gate, like a smash and grab, get in, get their application filed, and they stand back and say, hey, we're grandfathered. So it's not that we're trying to stop them, cut them completely off. We want to shut the gate right now, make the revisions, open the gate back up under new rules. Make the developers a little more accountable for what they're delivering to the citizens of Oconee County. So the applications come in fast ahead of the rule change to lock in on the old standards, and the moratorium is a standard tool used by counties and cities across the state in this country to prevent that exact outcome. It's not unusual. It is the responsible action to take in this case. I want to be precise about the scope of the ordinance. It applies to planned subdivisions. It applies to planned subdivisions of more than 10 residential dwelling units. It does not affect homeowner building a house. It does not affect a family dividing land among children. It does not affect small infill projects, agriculture use, or anything already permitted. It is targeted at the size of the project that drives real demand on the infrastructure that we're working to update. As far as the length of the moratorium, currently, we're looking at 8 months or less on a moratorium. So that is a lead-in to this ordinance. I'll be glad later on, maybe after the meeting, answer any questions that someone may have. But I wanted to put that out. I know some folks think it's probably a strategic political stunt being pulled, and that is not the case. I have brought up this moratorium many times in it before now, and basically the council has been against a moratorium. But we have come to the point that something has to be done. And anyone that's in the audience that lives in Seneca, you see what the landscape of Seneca, how it's looking and how it's changing. And it's becoming crowded. Not that that's a bad thing. People need a place to live. They need an affordable place to live. And we don't want to prevent that. We just want to we want quality structures being built. We want quality subdivisions being built. Something that we stand back and look at and we can say that's a nice subdivision. It was done right and it was done by the book. And that's all I've got, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Miles. Any other comments? I will say, I think Mr. Miles covered everything. By state law, you have to have a specific purpose for a moratorium. Rewriting your codes is one of those purposes, and by state law, it has to be for a specific short duration time period. And that's what it will have as well. A lot of people are confused about moratoriums. You can't use a moratorium to stop development. All it is a pause, in this case, as we redo as Mr. Miles said, chapter 38, 32, and 26 of our Code of Ordinances. Hopefully that work can be done diligently. It's upon this council to work diligently, the council subcommittee for planning and economic development to work diligently, and the planning commission as well as staff. As Mr. Miles says, what we're doing here will shape this county for the next 20, 30, even 50 years, as Mr. Miles said. So it's important that we get it right. And I believe the moratorium that Mr. Miles is bringing forward is the right thing to do, because we would have a flood in as soon as we start opening up these ordinances for review and debate. I will say it's not going to be an easy process. There will be debate amongst it. I encourage the public to be patient, and the first idea you hear somebody say, don't run with it, because it will be ideas that's floated out there that may or may not be in the final product. So it'll be open debate on that and which direction it goes, working with staff, and that's about it. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add one other thing. You know, all along, my 3.5 years on this board, on this council, there's been a host of folks came to us really concerned about the infrastructure, sewer, water, and power. We've got a good supply of water, at least in the, I can only speak for the city of Seneca. We've got a good water plant. We've got a good source of power in the city of Seneca. Sewer, on the other hand, is questionable. And adding all of these subdivisions, if we don't get our hands around it and we continue to add subdivisions, you're adding capacity to the sewer that is substandard right at the moment. And I hate to keep going back to things I've learned at Duke Energy, but one thing they instill in us is you stop if there's a problem or something's going on, it's just not right, and you know it's not right, you stop. You never proceed in the face of uncertainty. And we're at a point now, it is somewhat a face of uncertainty, and that's the reason we're going to pump the brakes here, put this moratorium in place for a temporary basis, get our rules in place, and then we'll lift the moratorium, we'll move forward.
So I'll say this, the county is not a sewer provider. So sewer service is an avenue, a utility service for a moratorium. But the county can't institute a moratorium for sewer service because we are not the sewer provider. A lot of people ask us to stop growth, stop a development. We don't approve developments. We pass the standards, and either they meet the standards or they don't. In the last year, we had all the news about the huge 5,200 home Neary development. And the reason why that made it to council was because we have standards. And that development could not meet those standards, so they came to council because they wanted a planned development to have their own set of standards for that piece of land. My time on council, that's the only residential developer that's came to county council. I believe somebody did maybe to revitalize the Utica Mill, and I don't know whatever happened with that project. But, so we don't sit up here and govern whether a subdivision gets approved or not. We set the policy, we set the rules, we set the ordinances, and that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna revisit those ordinances that's been in place for who knows how long. Mr. Elliott's been pounding his fist about this for, I guess, 8 years. Right?
7.5.
Yeah. So, we're gonna take that process on, and I had something else I was gonna say, and it slipped my mind, but that's okay. We'll have 2 more readings for me to say it, but, anything else? Here not, all in favor? Next, let me find my place again. We have ordinance 2026-16, an ordinance to authorize the execution and delivery of an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Seneca for the administration and operation of 911 and dispatch communication services and other matters related thereto.
So moved. Second.
All right, any discussion? No Chief Boland here if anybody has any questions on this. So, is my understanding that Seneca is the only municipality currently with their own dispatch. The county currently covers it for Walhalla and for Westminster. This bring that dispatch under the county, which I believe will give a better quality of service, that you don't have delay in times of transfer and figure out who gets the call, who responds. But we have the expert here if anybody has any.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
would it be okay if Mr. Boland came up and sort of give us overview?
Good evening, council. Thank you for the opportunity to come speak. For several years now, Seneca Police Department's had their own dispatch with Seneca Fire and Seneca Police Department. We're the only municipality that had their own dispatch center. Over the several years, we have figured that a lot of agencies have started to come into a unified communication center. During the process of talking with Sheriff Crenshaw, we feel like, bringing a unified 911 communication center to the county would be beneficial to all residents with the city of Seneca and also with the county. You all know as well as I do that we don't just cover just the city of Seneca. The sheriff office needs help or is tied up on something, we respond just like the fire department does as well. So this would bring a unified communication center throughout the whole entire county. That would bring everybody except for the hospital into the same building, which would be very beneficial to all residents in Oconee County.
Thank you, Chief
Thank you,
Boland.
Chief.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
And this is ordinance 2026-17, an ordinance to amend chapter 38 of the Oconee County Code of Ordinances to rename the control-free district and its abbreviation CFD to the general use district and GUD respectively, and to make conforming changes throughout chapter 38 and other matters related thereto.
Make a motion.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hart. So, we talked a lot about chapter 38 a couple ordinances ago. All this is a name change. It doesn't change any of the substance of chapter 38. I felt it was important to go through with this because the moratorium only affects subdivisions greater than 10 homes. Control-free is a bit confusing, and it's not an accurate name for the control-free district. The control-free district is not unzoned. That's actually a zoning district. It's a zoning territory, and it's absolutely not control-free, and it confuses the citizens. The control-free district has setbacks requirements, has road requirements, has density requirements, we talked about earlier with the whole Neary project. So to say it's control-free, I believe that leads to confusion, and this name change just clears up that confusion, relabels it general use district, and as we move forward reworking chapter 38, then this name change will be in play for that as well as people who own property in control-free district now who show up to get a permit and find that it's not control-free, they gotta meet requirements. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor? Next, we have no resolutions. Then we have discussion items. First is approval for the transfer of funds in the amount of $13,900 to cover the reduced probate court budget. Staff recommends council approve the transfer of funds from the assessor's health insurance fringe account to various probate court line items.
Make a motion.
Second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Next, we have approval of the transfer of funds in the amount of $15,000 to cover the expenditures related to May jury summons court costs. Staff recommends council approve the transfer of funds from salaries for costs associated with the clerk of courts, May jury summons.
Make a motion. Second.
Motion second, any discussion? So what this is, and I'm not gonna say his name, but the scumbag who shot Deputy Watts' trial is this month, and they had to summon over 700 jurors to try to get a jury because that incident touched so many people in our county. So they had to get a jury pool of 700 people to try to pull a jury for that trial. So that is outside the budget amounts the clerk of court requested for the funds to cover that. No other discussion, all in favor? Next, we have approval for the transfer of funds in the amount of $70,000 to provide grant match funds for the City of Walhalla Fire Department grant. Staff recommends that council approve the transfer of budgeted funds from roads and bridges in the Solicitor's Department to provide the required grant match for the Walhalla Fire Department. Motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
All right, so this, I don't know if council remembers this, but we voted on this about this time last year. And that never got done. So as part of a cleanup path, that's why it's back before us today. We're gonna vote on it again tonight. And administration is gonna take the action. I hear no other conversation. All in favor? Next is approval for the transfer of funds in the amount of $66,320 to cover the building codes RCI invoices for April 2026 through June 2026. Staff recommends that council approve the transfer of budgeted funds from the unused fringe accounts of the solicitor, clerk of court, and solid waste departments to cover building codes department's RCI inspection invoices for the remainder of fiscal year 2025-2026. It's April through June.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, sir. I hope it's the last time I have to vote on something like this. I hope from now on, the county's got their own inspectors out. We don't have to pay this type of fee to a private organization.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Next, we have council committee reports. This is me, Budget, Finance, and Administration Committee. The committee met at 4 p.m. on April 21st, 2026, where the school district of Oconee County and Fire Emergency Services presented their fiscal year 2026-2027 budget request. And I'll give an update after that meeting. In that meeting, we discussed the SRO position, the floater, to when there's a vacancy or somebody's out sick or training or anything, to have an extra SRO officer to be a floater to fill in so there's no schools left vacant. Mr. Miles has spoken with the school district, and they've agreed to fund that position, and we're gonna fund the equipment for it. And He's also spoken with them about kicking off the firefighter training program again at the Career Center, because we're working to revitalize volunteerism, and that's a great way to get them. When you get them young, they get that fire bug early. So I appreciate Mr. Mize being kind of a school district liaison and working through those items. The budget that they sent us actually included the SRO position and partially funding the fire program as we try to work into that. So that's an update from the meeting. Any questions about that? Hearing none, let's move forward to Board of Commission appointments. We have Building Code Appeals Board, one at-large seat, no question on file. Next, we have Agricultural Advisory Board for District 1. We have one question on file.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm not ready yet for that.
Ready, thank you, Mr. Elliott. Next, we have executive session. We have 6 items. We have a motion to enter executive session for 1, discussion regarding an economic development matter, Project Hawk. 2, receive legal advice and discuss potential contractual matters related to emergency services. 3, discuss a contractual matter regarding law enforcement safety equipment. 4, discussing on personnel matters related to emergency services and regarding a pending, threatening, or potential claim. 5, receive legal advice and discuss contractual matter regarding pending, threatening, or potential claim. 6, receive legal advice and discuss contractual and personnel matters regarding roads and bridges.
Make a motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Earn from executive session,
So move.
all in
Second.
favor? All right, we have a couple items that need to be addressed.
Yes, sir. One item, want to make a motion to direct county administrator to negotiate the sale of a county-owned property as discussed in the executive session.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Next, for item number 3, I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of ballistics not to exceed $154,000 and direct the administrator to execute this purchase in any change orders.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Five oh.
Need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion. Second.
Second.
All in favor?